So I'm a bulldog until they play Clemson.
And then you're a
and then I have to be a tiger.
Yes,
I have to be a tiger. And I married a Carolina man. And my aunt said, you know, they used to have the big game on Big Thursday at the State Fair.
Yeah.
And she said, if you ever get a divorce, it'll be on Big Thursday when they're playing the game. But we didn't. When Carolina won, I would be quiet and he would let me. And then when Clemson won, I'd hold it over him.
Be quiet.
Yeah, I'd cry.
Of course, we had a chance to meet due to a long time, a gentleman who's worked in my family for almost 20 years, Pete Sealer, who I think attends a church that I understand was founded in your home.
Yes, we started in 1977. I just became so unhappy with what was happening in the Episcopal Church, and I made a trip to Charleston, and there was a group there that had, and we don't say we left the Episcopal Church, we say they left us because of the policies they're following and the doctrine they've abandoned. And so the people from Charleston came up and met with us. And we don't have a building, and we have a minister, but anyway, it started.
We met the pastor,
it started in our living room, and then we rented Salvation Army, Presbyterian churches, and all sorts of things to keep going. And we've been going. We haven't been growing a lot, and we've lost a lot since 1977.
Is that right? 30 years this year. That's tremendous.
Well, I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah, big 3
we ought to have
a little celebration. Like the 30 years.
I'll remind the bishop when he's coming in September.
Yes, absolutely. How exciting.
But that's a group, you know, the Anglican Catholic Church that came from St. Louis in 1977. They had a meeting, and 4 bishops separated and started ordaining
That's fascinating. Well, I'm sure glad. I appreciate the opportunity to get Jamie Danforth with us from the Air Force, who also serves the role with your church there that had been started out of your home. You know, when we think about what it means to belong, I think you shared a minute ago those five objectives of being active in the United Daughters of the Confederacy. But when we think about heritage, obviously the Daughters of the Confederacy speak a lot about heritage. What does that mean exactly?
It does. What it means to be in the Daughters is that you're in a group that you know had the same feeling about the South and the cause and what we're still trying to do. And you always feel safe in a group that feels the same way that you do. And so that's what it means. And heritage is important. I mean, if we forget the past, we might be doomed, you know the saying, to repeat it. So it's just it just tells you where you came from, what it meant, you know, to be. And I don't know that any Southerner can really explain why it's so great to be a Southerner, but you know that saying, you know, you're American by birth, but you're Southern by the grace of God. And I really feel that.
Is this something you've been able to pass down to your family?
Yes, I have. We have fought. My sons have. They're not members of the Sons right now, but they have written letters and they've written articles and they have stood up.
That's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did that do something?
Oh, that's fine. Absolutely. That's the great thing about TV on a Tuesday morning. That's right. And these folks from Ace Hardware were so kind to let us in.
Isn't it
early on. They open up actually at 8 o'clock, so they were kind to let us in a little early.
I love the atmosphere.
Isn't it great?
Yes, it is.
Right behind us, all these painters' tools and everything else.
Oh, yes. I see so many things. I'd much rather buy something from the hardware than a new dress or something.
Than a new dress or shoes or anything else. I love that.
I would like to say that all these years we have been working, and in World War I mean, you know, you hardly hear about World War I anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but we, I don't know, we contributed so much money for French and Belgian orphans, and we supported hospital beds in France.
Yes.
And we just raised $841,000 to a Red Cross and Wall Relief.
Is that right?
And you know, it's interesting that a memorial to the Confederate, the Women of the North and the South,
right,
is a permanent headquarters of the Red Cross in Washington.
Is that right? I don't think I knew that. So there's an overlapping relationship with Women of the North as well.
Yes. And in World War II, we even supported student nurses. And we donated ambulance for European battle sites. And we donated blood plasma through the Red Cross.
Yes.
And
we tremendous.
We continued helping during the Korean, the Vietnam, and Desert Storm.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
the
so
UCC's continued to make a difference to many others other than just down the bloodline.
That's what I try to embrace.
Are you active in any other nonprofit groups, Ann?
I'm really not.
Your church.
The church
Very important
is
to
taken.
you.
I'm active. Well, they might not agree, but I'm active in a garden club because I love to.
Good. Which one? One in Florence or one down here?
No, the Camellia in Florence.
That's great.
And I stay in it because I've learned so much.
Yes.
And put a lot into practice. And tulips, one of my favorite flowers. I went to Holland.
Well, we've got a garden of the week every week now in the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're going to have to, right there on the back of Section B there, which is very handsome. A young woman from Conway actually takes the photos for us. This one is Surfside Beach this week, so you're going to have to check it out and check out our garden of the week. We want to get hooked up with some local garden clubs. We think about, we've only got about 5 minutes, and we hear the phrase true Southerners. What does that mean to you about being a true Southerner?
Well, it's a way of life. I mean, we're all Americans, I know now. But the people up north were just brought up differently. And we were. I think since the heat wave has been, I heard one northerner say they understood why we were a little slower. I enjoyed that. But it's just a graciousness. It's just a chivalry is not all dead maybe sometimes. When the gentleman opens the door for you, and you're so thankful and so it's just hard to explain. But it is a way of life, and no matter all the changes, you're a true Southerner. And see, that's why I want to get into the conflicts and what is it that
what are some of the misconceptions about Southerners that viewers may have? One
of the main misconceptions is the name of the war. It was not a civil war. And let me read you this. On March the 2nd, 1928, the Senate Resolution number 41, Congress recognized the war between the states as the proper name. The war was between two organized governments, not two parties in the same government. The Confederacy set up a government. They had a president, a vice president. They had banking. You see, a civil war is a group within the government that wants to take over. We didn't want to take over the government. We had been treated as a foreign land with all our high tariffs and all our misrepresentation, and so we wanted to be a country. And so it was a war between them. But you know who wins the war gets to write the history, and it's much easier to say civil war than the war between the states. So many times we've thought because it's short, civil war, they say that, but it actually was not. And then another, there may not be today a Memorial Day if it hadn't been for Southern women. After the war, they started decorating the graves of the Confederate veterans, and they called it Decoration Day. Well, the Northerners caught on and said we should do the same thing, so they started, and it developed into May the 3rd to Memorial Day.
Is that right?
But we still have Confederate Memorial Day, and it's in South Carolina. It is May the 10th, and we have Columbia has a big Memorial Day on the first Saturday in May, and we have it as close to May the 10th, and so second Saturday as we can in Florence.
Do some of the stories that were shared with you at an early age, Ann, stick out in your mind to keep you real active stories from your grandmother or grandfather, or even the stories from your mother?
Well, I didn't know. My mother. I didn't know them.
Shared with you stories anecdotally from
They
her
died
parents.
before I was born, but mother kept it alive.
Any of those that really stick out in your mind that have
actually,
maintained you, that have helped keep you so focused on supporting the UDC?
Actually, it is, and really sometimes more of the Reconstruction. Mother told about how grandmother being in Columbia and the burning and the pillaging and how the soldiers went in across the street and went into this woman's bedroom, and she was having a baby, and he saw the ring on her finger and tried to take it, and she took it off and said, "I'll swallow it before I give it to you." And he said, "Well, you're a perky lady, you keep your ring." And about husbands disappearing and never coming back. And about how young grandfather was, he helped build the gunboat, the PD. You see, they built a gunboat to protect a northern ship would come in Winyah Bay and could come up the rivers. And so they built the PD gunboat to protect that. As it ended, they had to destroy it, blow up the PD gunboat, because they knew the Northerners were advancing and would take it, and so they blew it up.
So clearly the stories of your mother have helped keep the passion in your belly.
It has. She was a Gregg, and we think Gregg came from McGregor.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your birthday.
My Gregg comes from McGregor, yes.
And you know the McGregors.
Yes, that I do, absolutely.
Well, I won't say fighting people, but...
Feisty, how about
feisty,
that?
Feisty.
And I'm sorry, we've run out of time. We're going to have to get you back another day. And, of course, if Ace Hardware opens up their doors early on, we can come back here to celebrate the heritage of your cousin or brother-in-law's hardware store. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having us, Greg.
Absolutely.
I certainly enjoyed it.
Very definitely.
Thank you.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Ann Powell, the United Daughters of the Confederacy, coming up next. The oldest patriotic lineage society in the United States. There's a real active group there every day making a difference, and they're recruiting new members all the time. You can make a difference. Take a look at this great cotton ball emblem there right on the cover. Love, live, think, dare, and pray. And praying was an active component of this back in the 1800s. It's an active component now in the 21st century. You can be involved in the UDC. Take the time to learn more about the organization. You can go online to www.hqudc.org. You can give them a call at 804-355-1636. Or you heard Ann say it, you can send them a letter at the Memorial Division there, 328 North Boulevard in Richmond, Virginia, 23220. Take the time, learn more about this amazing organization and amazing volunteers just like Ann Powell.